is the third of the major qualifying finals for the Optus Cup in 1997. Good afternoon, everybody, as Manly takes the field in front of the best finals crowd so far, though it be disappointing. Manly taking on Newcastle today. Here's the Eagles team.
And some changes to that, originally named by Bob Fulton. Shannon Nevin is the fullback, Danny Moore and Hopewati the wingers, Craig Innes, Terry Hill the centre combination. We believe Nick Kosef will play at 5'8" with Jeff Tuvey the halfback and captain. Lock forward inside is Kallela, who comes into the team. Gartner and Menzies the second row. Carroll, Gillespie and Sidaris. Bob Fulton the coach. We've got both Cliff Lyons and Craig Field named on the interchange bench.
The Newcastle Knights. Not since 1992 have they been victorious over Manly. They start as the outsiders. No Andrew Johns as Peter looks at the team now.
Well, they are in great form. They've won 5 from 5. Hughes comes in for the injured Robbie O'Davis. He's been stood down for medical advice. Albert McDougall, the wingers. Grogan and Craigie, the young centre combination. Johns, the 5'8", that's Matthew. Leo Dinover comes in for the injured Andrew Johns. Glanville a lock. Muir Pede in the second row. Harrigan captain. He's in the front row with Butterfield. Clement, so impressive in recent weeks, is the hooker, coached by Malcolm Riley.
So it's a good feeling. Beautiful day. Sydney basking in sunshine. Menzies, 70 tries in 100 first-grade games for Manly. O'Davis watching the game. Probably their second most potent attacking player. Look at that record for Menzies. Will he boost it today? Dinover's in at halfback. Started the season magnificently. Kelvin Jeffs has got the whistle. Will they come together for the grand final? These two sides. Nevin starts. And Dinover gets first touch and sends Big Harrigan back beyond the 20-metre line. Now Butterfield, his partner in crime, out beyond the 30-metre line. Big convoy of Newcastle fans here as Mark Glanville, playing in possibly his second last game in Australian football. Harrigan again wants plenty of the action, but that tackle has hurt Harrigan. He doesn't want to show it, but he's not well. Butterfield has shouldered him away or pushed him away. Dinover now for the kick as Menzies goes for the charge down. Nevin comes off his own line to the 10. Muir's got him and lost him. Craigie, the centre, made the tackle. Kosef playing at 5'8" for Manly. Hill is into space. Hill to the halfway. Tremendous run by the leading try scorer in the Optus Cup. Now Sidaris out at first receiver, got away from Butterfield. Harrigan gets involved again. Tuvey finding Kallela. 37 metres out from the Newcastle line. Tuvey a dummy half for the most part. Gartner heavily driven down there by Billy Peden playing in 11 shirt. Tuvey again, he's been involved in everything. He just took a very heavy hit after he kicked the ball. And Hughes comes back out to the 10-metre line. This was Tuvey putting a kick in. And they really smashed him down.
Already Manly having some success with Nick Kosef in the 5'8" role. That's how they played in the lead up to last year's grand final and in the grand final. And Kosef turned Terry Hill back in. And Terry, not just the top try scorer, but he has never had a better year. He has been in great form.
Butterfield just trying to take as much work away from Harrigan as he can, while Harrigan fully recovers from an earlier tackle. That will have to be picked up and carried back. Danny Moore is not going to make it. Tremendous chase by Newcastle. They will get the football back.
And a tremendous kick there from Leo Dinover. Under all sorts of pressure, the young man this afternoon coming in for Andrew Johns. Most people believe that Newcastle's chances went along with Johns being out of this game, but he's got a great kick down there. He's chased up with Owen Craigie, who made the first impact. And that's picked up something like 60 metres, and now more possession for them.
Scenario here for next week. Very, very interesting. The winner will play Sydney City. The loser will play North Sydney. So much so that the suggestion is it might be better to lose with the big wind that's coming in behind Sydney City at the moment. Butterfield, how many times has he taken it up? That's once that he probably wishes he hadn't taken it up. He's given away a great opportunity for Newcastle. Hopewadi loses it out the back. They're based on the halfway line with Gardner. Sidaris now. One of the few times that he's made dummy half. Kalela, the Cunningham lookalike. Sidaris brings it down the blind side for Carroll. Carroll's just inside the Newcastle 30-metre line. Sidaris then let one runner go. It was Gillespie. Two men off the ruck was Tuvey. Tuvey looks for Menzies, finds him. Harrigan makes a half-hearted tackle. I still don't think he's totally 100%. Sidaris across now for Kalelu again. He stepped out of a tackle inside the 10. Manly are going to score. Kalela's over. Mark Hughes had him and lost him. Manly have scored.
And it's just as well for Anthony Kalela that he did score, because he would have bombed it by not throwing the pass on the outside. This gave them possession. Very rare to see Butterfield lose the football. He did so. A strong tackle from Jeff Tuvey. What about that? And then Kalela, who's a marvellous start to this game. He gets on the outside. Tackle missed. Albert misses him again. And he's got Gillespie unmarked on the outside. You can see the reaction from Cement on the outside, that he was ecstatic. The young back rower got the try.
Yeah, nice pass from Sidaris. Well, Butterfield's not only coughed up the football, he's been caught out wide and missed the tackle on Kalela. It's not the best start for Tony Butterfield, but he's very strong. In the legs department is Anthony Kalela. Changed the ball to his other hand to use the fend and gets over. That's a good start for the Eagles.
He's very strong, isn't he? He's gone straight through Butterfield. Albert, who's a real speedster, he was forced to go early, and even Mark Hughes, he had a pretty good shot on him. He did lift his head in the tackle, Hughes, and that contributed to the miss.
First try of the match to the defending premiers and minor premiers. It came at the 4th minute officially. And now Shannon Nevin from 11 metres in, 20 metres out. I do feel a little bit sorry for Tony Butterfield. I tend to think that he had used up a lot more oxygen than he originally planned. Very busy, and then of course he's made not one but 2 mistakes, allowing the try. But Albert and Hughes have got to take some responsibility. Shannon Nevin hits it and just gets it. So Manly are leading Newcastle by 6 points at the 6th minute. So as we bring you back to the Sydney Football Stadium, Rugby League's headquarters since the late 80s, ready to host another grand final here in just on a fortnight's time. And Manly have put a shot on Newcastle. 6 points to 0 and a try for Kalela.
They really have been aided, Manly, by some ineffective defence from Newcastle early on. That is also unexpected. They've only been forced to do 17 tackles the Knights, but already they've missed 6. So a big percentage early in the game. And here's another problem for them, the penalty given around the 40-metre line. All the momentum early in this game to the minor premiers.
Just looking at the rankings at the end of the 22 rounds, Newcastle hasn't made a habit of letting tries in. They came in number 1 on the defence list in rankings. In fact, that's how they fared in attack, 1st and 2nd, and then 5th and 1st with Newcastle, the number 1 defence team. You'd never know watching the start of this game. Gillespie put away just inside the 30-metre line. Manly on the attack in a good zone again as Gillespie appealed for a penalty. The 15 again takes it ahead. Kalela. Sidaris across for Kosef, and then for Tuvey, who's been so prominent. Hill comes in on the angle and tries to straighten it. Taken away by Peden. Tuvey goes back to dummy half, and now Nevin puts in the kick. And coming through is Hopewadi, so too is Innes. Hughes had a shot on it, lost it, got it back again. And he'll take it back to the 20 for the restart. 6-0 in favour of Manly.
Well, they're playing well, aren't they, Manly? When Tuvey goes across the field, there's plenty of runners for him. And the high ball by Nevin. Good start for a couple of these youngsters in Colella and Nevin. It's a big match, probably the biggest they've played in, and they're handling it well.
Of course, we mentioned both Robbie O'Davis and Andrew Johns missing from this game. We saw Robbie O'Davis sitting watching the game as they ran on. Pretty sure it was Matthew Gidley sitting next to him. And he's another of their fine young players who won't be competing for the rest of the season as Clements takes it inside the 50.
One-handed pickup by Matthew Johns. Running across the ground, putting a kick in, but Darren Albert had no idea it was coming. He gave them far too much start. And Manly cleaning it up easily.
Well, in his defence, I do think Matthew Johns actually kicked for himself when he ran into a brick wall. There was a lot of space back there. He saw that. Just have a look. He runs straight in. I do think it was meant for him as much as anybody else.
Carroll now. Try at the 4th minute for Manly's. Locked forward, Anthony Colella. Menzies out wide. Troubles for Newcastle. Menzies with an inside ball. They're lining up and putting their hands up. Terry Hill puts the head back. He sets sail for the line. Terry Hill is over. Manly's second try. Menzies played a big role.
They are absolutely flying the Sea Eagles, but they're being aided, as I said earlier, by the Newcastle team. That's taking nothing away from this great attack. But just have a look at Owen Craigie in this build-up. We freeze it there. This man, Owen Craigie, a little bit obscured by the Manly player, actually slips over, and as play continues, he's just out of play. That made it 2-on-1. Menzies threw the pass early to allow McDougall to get involved. Craigie still hasn't sort of chased to any great degree. He dropped off very early, and that will displease Malcolm really. Despairing dive again from Adam McDougall. A simple try, but really Owen Craigie played no part when he should have been coming up with one of these tackles.
Well, the decoy is Terry Hill. I think there was an accidental trip in there somewhere, which didn't help Craigie. But the thing about the Manly side you'd like today is that when Menzies made the bust, there was support all over the place. Gartner was there, Hill was there. And, it's a great start for them.
I can't believe the disinterest shown by Owen Craigie once he'd fallen on the ground. McDougall did a magnificent job. He had 2 players coming at him. He even had time to turn and chase the eventual try scorer. But Owen Craigie never really got out of a trot after he dropped to the ground.
21st try of the year. Leading try scorer, Terry Hill. Shannon Nevin gets the simplest of conversions. Converted Colella's try at the 4th minute. Carried them to 6-0. And now, from right in front, bound to convert Terry Hill's 21st try of the year. 10-0 to become 12. So the Sea Eagles are flying high.
Well, let's just see if Craig gets any interference from Terry Hill. I don't know if he clipped him or not. But Danny Moore did a great job. So too Menzies. Menzies playing very wide again this afternoon. And in Owen Craigie's defence, maybe this try scorer here, Terry Hill, would come up with some contact on him, which is one of the reasons he ended up on the ground.
Tierney is on for Manly now. With the ball, 25 away from his own line. Kosef probing for an opening down the blind side. Sidaris. Carroll tries to batter his way through. They're in one of those moods today, Manly. Hopewadi taken down by his opposite number. Albert. Kosef with his left-footed kick. Down on the second bounce for Hughes. In there for Robbie O'Davis at the back. I've already touched on the defence of Newcastle. Steve Roach on the sidelines.
Well, this isn't the Newcastle of last week. Every time Manly run the football, they're poking their head through. I reckon Newcastle have missed more tackles in the first 15 minutes than they did in the whole game last week against Parramatta. That would have taken its toll.
Peden.
Having said that, Block, they did miss some early last week as well. They did trail 18-0.
Muir. He's through. Gardner came again. Dinova. Penalty.
Well, the penalty's gone to Newcastle because Jim Sidaris appeared to take out Leo Dinova with his shoulder. He's saying he changed direction to impede him. Jeff Tuvey asking the question.
There you go. Made my decision.
You can I can almost tell you what Tuvey's saying. Two players in pursuit of the ball are entitled to bump. They can't actually grab at each other, but they can bump each other with the hips and the torso. And that's what Jeff was, I'm sure, saying. So Newcastle get a very good chance. 7 metres away from the Manly line. They're down by 12-0, and they need to be the next to score. Butterfield put down heavily. Kalila it was over the top. Clements brings it right. John's running it. Oh, Muir! He really was taken down by Manly's Kosef. Johns ran at them. Dinova half volley. Cut out ball. That'll put them in. He's over the line. Does he get it down? In goal, judge says yes. Jeffs will point to the spot. It's a try for Newcastle. Wide out.
And isn't that what the doctor ordered? Owen Craigie gets one back. Good work on the inside from both Matthew Johns and Leo Dinova. This was the penalty that went their way. The shoulder came from Kalila, and the referee said that that wasn't legal. It's a line ball decision. Matthew Johns tried to take them all on himself, and then the bullet pass from Dinova is the telling one. They had plenty of numbers out there. Terry Hill had to come late, and he did a great job to get the ball down because he was getting put over the sideline.
Well, it was thought today, the general feeling at the ground here today was that Newcastle would miss Andrew Johns, and they will. But I'm telling you, Leo Dinova has had a great start to the game. He's a very good player. He carried Newcastle for the first 8 to 10 weeks of the season this year, and that was a great pass from Dinova to set up the try.
He still had some work to do, Craigie, didn't he? He's such a fine prospect, only 19 years of age.
And he's not skinny. I mean, he's got some weight on his side. He used it well to get through those two defenders.
Dinova then, who had a tremendous start to the year. He was there for about 14 matches. And he'd led the voting for the Provan Summons Medal. After 5 rounds, he was the leading player in the game. And he scored more than 100 points this year. From the touchline, 22 metres out. It's not a bad-looking kick. Oh, take a photo of it. That's beautiful. Put that in your album, Fatty. 12-6 Manly. Channel 9's coverage of the finals continues from headquarters. Manly by 6. Really busted. Oh, Harrigan has hurt one of the Manly players.
It's Carroll.
Oh, the old combatants. Oh, Carroll, I'm watching the back play, which I shouldn't be doing, but he can't make his feet. Penalty goes to Newcastle. Well, Harrigan and Carroll, they've come together many times. This time Mark goes in, or went in badly, on Harrigan, and oh, he goes bye-bye.
He was gone. A big clash there from the two boppers. Spud tries to get up. He's heading straight back down.
Newcastle capitalising on the penalty.
And he's off. He's having a rest.
Harrigan is back. You might recall that I felt that he was wounded in an early encounter, and he's been reasonably quiet. But that try is like a dose of smelling salts, apparently. He's back with a vengeance. Peden away for Johns. And then for Dinover. Dinover thought he saw a gap. He's lost the ball.
Well, that was bad luck because they were building up for something there, Newcastle. He can step off both feet. And it was actually looked like it was pushed out by a Manly player, Kallela. But it was one-on-one tackle, so that's okay.
What about the crowd? They came together, the front rows. The blue and red on the far side. You'd thought that they'd won a grand final, Newcastle. They rose as one.
Cliffy Lyons into the game. Shannon Nevin in from the back. 24 away from their own line. They lead by 6. John Hopewadi. Hasn't seen much of the football, but probably has been going more to the other side, if anything. Quick hand, Sidaris Kallela. Now Gardner steps and beats Muir. Slides away from the tackle of Clements. Put down by Hughes. Play back for Tuvey to the halfway line. Kallela again. 40-metre line. Centre of the ground. Sidaris and Dertini and Lyons. And then they keep coming. And Crossair gets the ball on for Innes. Held by Darren Elder. Crossair sweeping it away for Lyons to go to the air. Second time in the game they've done that. Manly batted down by Moore. It's gone from Tuvey away for Terry Hill. Puts the kick in. Hughes has to work. Did he force the ball? Yes, that's what he's ruled. He's going to take it across the line, drop out.
It was a great kick from Lyons. They'd isolated those Newcastle players out there. They got the bat back. And then it's grounded.
Well, even if it hadn't been grounded by the Newcastle player in the referee's eyes, there's no way knowing Terry Hill touched down anyway. Would have got a result. They've got a scrum feed out of it, but they still get possession from the line drop out. And Neil Tierney gets a good bounce.
15 for Newcastle is Troy Fletcher. And this nuggety back rower Kallela has been as good as Manly's had in the forwards, and he's playing with an illustrious pack. Crossair tries to slam it towards the corner post. Sidaris, Tuvey, Tierney the decoy, Lyons the ball carrier. Across the face for Hill. Trouble coming for Newcastle. Inside ball required. Danny Moore's a metre from the line. Lyons. Fifth tackle. 2 metres out from the line. Long ball for Tuvey to the air. Hughes came up from the back, and he did very well.
Great confidence shown there from Hughes. He put his hand up, very determined, came up, wanted to make sure he took the football. And that took away a lot of pressure as Adam Muir tries to bust a tackle. He takes it outside 20. They did well to hang on there, the Knights, especially Dinover on the far side when Lyons decided to go on his own.
22nd minute of the game. 12-6 Manly. There's that tackling style from Manly.
And Matthew Johns has cut straight for the knee. But we've got the touch judge coming on here.
Oh, this is very, very dangerous. Nick Cossett was the culprit. This could be drama.
Well, this has been one of the more contentious issues in rugby league. It's that tackling style from Manly, which goes back to the days of Ron Gibbs many years ago.
See, like he's not going in to charge a football down. So the only result can either be an injury for the kicker or a miss by the man coming in. Look, I don't think it's not a charge down attempt, and that's the only way you can come in is if you're playing at the football. No attempt from Kosef to play at the football on that occasion. Thank goodness Matthew Johns has got to his feet.
I've got no doubt it'll be on report. I'm just wondering if he'll send him off.
We're taking the players' legs out in a dangerous manner, not unbecoming the game, all right? So play the game in the spirit of the game, all right? We're going to big penalty.
That's a very, very interesting address there from Kelvin Jeff,
Yeah.
saying taking the player out, not in the spirit of the game.
Taking a player's legs out in a dangerous manner is not in the true spirit of the game. It's pretty much what Kelvin Jeff said, and here it is again for you. And we pinpointed this in a match earlier in the year, and it became spotlighted then. It's back under the spotlight now, but it was originally a Manly play that I'm sure goes back to Ron Gibbs.
Well, from our ground mics, we've heard that when Matthew Johns hit the ground, he yelled out, "My knee is gone." Hopefully that's not the case.
And he's not on report, but I'll be very surprised if on Monday the league officials don't have a good hard look at that.
Because saying it's not the spirit of the game, it's a wide range, isn't it? It means that it's not necessarily in the rule book and tough to adjudicate on.
Exactly. I think that they should bring in a rule that deals with it more specifically. I mean, if it's out, it's out. Let's have a rule rather than players having to work out for themselves what is in the true spirit of the game and what is not. That's not a bad looker, is it? Dinover gets another. Newcastle back to 12-8. 23rd minute now. He's taking a break. So a very controversial moment in the game. Nothing to do with tries, but to do with a tackling style that most of us believe should be outlawed.
I've got to say this about Nick Kosef. That's normally not his bag, and whether he tripped or fell into it, he wouldn't purposely try and take a player out in that sort of manner and maim him.
And the other thing, as we've pointed out in mixed defence, is the fact that it's not technically illegal, despite the fact he was penalised.
Penalty against Manly inside the 10. What Peter is saying, they know that there's a rule that says you can't throw the ball forward. They know the offside rule because there's a rule there. There is not a specific rule that deals with this infamous tackling style. And I think the league should try and do something very quickly to make it very clear for the patrons and the players. So Newcastle were trailing 12-0. The Knights are back to 12-8. Big audience, I would imagine, in the Hunter. They've come up looking for Harrigan, and Harrigan is meeting them. Muir's on the halfway line. Fletcher. 40 metres out. Clements using Muir. Bound for North Sydney next year. Tremendous service for Newcastle. Dinover. Into the corner, Albert is flying. Oh, gee, that's close. That is close. The big red and blue army, they went up.
Well, how close was it? The corner post went flying. Albert hasn't he got some speed? It's gone straight past Opawati. They've never grounded it. And the corner post is gone.
He grounded it all right, but it was after he'd gone into touch.
Beware of Manly, they're coming back quickly. Spreading the ball to the right with Menzies. 42 metres out from their own line. Danny Moore coming off the right wing. Alone! He's drilled.
He's dropped it in the end.
He's ruled a knock on against Danny Moore.
Second time.
I was about to say, what about this?
Oh, the eyes were closed. He's gone for the second effort. Did he regather it?
No, I think the referee's spot on.
Kelvin
So
Jeffs
do
was
I.
right there.
Adam Muir going in for the shoulder charge, and he's really warming up to his task now. He's played very well the last couple of weeks.
You're the captain now. Who's the captain? It's Manly.
12-8,
Head down that way.
26 minutes gone.
Craig Field on at half. Tuvia's gone to the sideline. So Scott Fulton into the action. Jimmy Sedaris getting a rest.
Blocker Matthew Johns, any sign of him?
No, not at the moment. He's still up in the sheds. He's just come to the sideline now, just out of the tunnel. He's got a bit of a bump on the knee.
There you go. Listen to me. He's over a bigger side. He's moving his head around. I don't know whether it's accident or not, but I am going to penalise him because I believe you're leading with your head too much.
I think he's penalised Butterfield for the same offence that he went for in a match at Marathon Stadium this year.
Well, he's ruled him here for leading with the head too much.
That's right, and Butterfield said, I thought that's what we were supposed to do.
Well, that's where it was there, the second one, where he's actually gone forward. And I can understand that ruling, I must admit. I did go down early and he did lead with the head.
Yeah, it's Tony Butterfield. The second time he's been penalised as a front rower for going in too aggressively with the head. Now, Gillespie.
Hang on, here we go. Going up. Playing too late. Adam Ewers, he's the last one up. Looks like Tierney might have been involved as well. Yeah, there they are. Neil Tierney has obviously resented the high shot from Adam Muir. He's pushed him down again. He'll play the footy, and then it's on.
Okay, the 12 on report, penalty against Newcastle. Okay, for a high shot? High shot, mate, yeah, same report. He's retaliated.
He's going to put this tackle on report.
Stay here, both of you. Now listen, you get your tackles down, Adam. Turn around for me too while you're here. Turn around. Okay, get your tackles down for me, Neil. You let me handle the game with the touch judges, right? Away you go.
Yeah, the touch judges told Colvin to put Muir on report, or advised him to put him on report. Nothing much more in it. And Manly will get... I was about to say to take a shot at goal, but they've decided to hit for the line on the other side of the ground.
Well, I can't believe they're not kicking for goal there.
Well, their normal captain, Jeff Turvey, isn't out there, and I would have thought a shot for goal, but they might feel that they're getting on top. Nearly a mistake there, nearly a forward pass.
Played then just inside the 20-metre line. Gillespie takes it ahead. Scott Fulton on in 14. Kosef. 10 away. Muir leading the defence for Newcastle. Sedaris. A good step by Terry Hill. Fulton provides wide and intercepted by Dinova. Butterfield. Good yards as Manly try to regroup. Again a scuffle up in back play. Darren Albert.
Well, that looked forward.
Touch judge called it.
So a couple of mistakes from both sides now, and I understand that Manly may have been very confident of busting Newcastle, but I think at times in matches there are situations where you're obliged to take points on offer, and one of those is when you're leading by 4. Bad pass there from Scott Fulton, cleaned up by Dinova. And then an equally bad pass about to come up from Darren Albert to Brett Grogan.
Craig Field trapped at the scrum base by Dinova. He fumbled the ball as it came out of the scrum. Nevin pulled down by Craigie. Watching Matthew Johns. I don't know that he's got total freedom in that knee. Fletcher launching himself at Kalela. Fulton, Field, Lyons, behind, and then Innes in for Hopewati.
Great tackle.
22 metres out from the line, 5 gone. Menzies, Lyons, a high ball across. And well taken out there by the Newcastle winger, Adam McDougall. Didn't have a lot of pressure on him. Never took his eyes from it, though. Now Hughes.
And John Hopewadi is quickly learning that you can't run straight through Darren Albert. That's the second time in this game that Albert has picked him up and driven him.
Johns. Peden. Newcastle back on their 20-metre line. We're inside 10 minutes. First half, and Manly 2 tries to 1, 12 points to 8. Dinaver. Good kick that, well placed. Danny Moore coming off his 20-metre line.
He's had a fine first 30 minutes, Leo Dinaver, as Mark Carroll is ready to come back onto the field. I guess Malcolm really must have been fairly tempted not to worry about putting Matthew Johns back into this game if there was any doubt whatsoever. It's not an elimination match. I'm not saying it's not important to win the game, but you wouldn't want to do any further damage and maybe be without him in coming weeks. As Lyons, he throws it to himself.
Kalella. Butterfield wraps himself around the shoulder area. 3 Manly players went up appealing for a penalty. Tierney. Fulton. Field. Lyons. The general. Oh, that pass is forward. (12-8) then Manly when we come back in a moment. Changeover was ruled on the other side of that break. And we come back with Newcastle 42 metres away from their own line. Trailing by 4. Fletcher. Oh, we want to watch that. Got in hard with his right knee, lifted as he came to the defence line. 14 is Wayne Richards. Newcastle's turn to attack. Second tackle. Johns on the third now. Dinaver, grubbing kick, looking for Albert speed. Nevin goes back. Nevin. I don't know that Darren Albert got a clean shot at the ball carrier. Hopewadi did his best to hamper his progress. Just watch this, Albert.
Oh.
Albert taken out by Hopewadi. Oh, knock on by Hill, 22 metres away from the Manly line.
And Terry Hill not happy with the pass, looking for Lyons to turn him back inside. Cliffy just hung on too long here. He just kept going and going and going. All of a sudden, there's no hole for Terry.
It's no good getting too upset with Cliff Lyons because you know that that might happen in games. You've got to give him the benefit of the doubt at times because maybe half the time Cliffy's not sure what he's doing, but he is going to open up plenty of holes for you, as he's done for Terry Hill in the past. But he is prone to maybe doing that because he explores so much.
Terry was still blowing up several seconds later, and he was looking at Cliffy Lyons as they stood in a defensive backline.
And good to hear that Mark Glanville was cautioned for patting on the head as well.
Now, Johns firing it out wide for Grogan, who's had a very limited amount of opportunity. Albert. Now, Glanville. So if that applies to Muir, I suppose it will apply to Hopewadi. Johns using Grogan on the right. Oh, flick pass. Albert wasn't awake. We'll talk about Terry Hill and Cliffy Lyons. Albert has gone to sleep on a flick pass from Grogan. Manly's penalty back on their own 20-metre line. They will clear to the eastern side. Carroll, who was knocked senseless during this first half, takes it ahead. Scott Fulton to the halfway line. He's pulled down by Richards. Gutton. And now Kalella. Pulled down by Clements and Muir. Fulton again. Field coming from the open side. Makes a break on the blind side. Craig Field, now it's gone out on the full, off the hands of the Manly player.
Well, a bomb try, I reckon. When Field went through, we had Craig Innes on the inside unmarked. He's a sneaky little play, gets under the Glanville. Look at Craig Innes back on the inside, although Adam Muir was there in defence.
I think it's gone off the Newcastle hand.
Again, a great exhibition of speed by Darren Albert. He was not involved in the break made by Field, but he was out of position. He turned and he had him picked up very quickly. Tremendous turn of foot. McDougall promoting Hughes. And he's lost it. Chance for Manly. Fulton spreads it immediately. Kosef.
Hands away, Newcastle. Roll up in, roll up.
Moore. Gardner. 4.5 minutes remaining. First half. Manly in front. Lions. Innes. Two-man tackle. Muir and Dinova. Menzies. A metre from it. Fulton. 5 gone. Have Manly frittered away the opportunity? To be Lions trying to put it on the boot without trying to catch it. Newcastle through Craigie are out to the 20-metre line. Now what's happened? This is against an attacking side, so this could be a Manly penalty. Martin Riggs, touch judge on this side.
Adam Muir, I think, is the man being called across. Captain Paul Harrigan also in attendance. But obviously the second rower has become involved in something on the line while Manly went through those 2 tackles.
I suggest you be quiet, have a listen to what the touch judge has to say, and then we'll get on with the game, all right?
Well, he's got no alternative here.
Here?
Kelvin Jeff.
Yes.
Let's run it 3 lines and 4 lines out.
Put your hands down.
Well, I've got a point. What about when we kick the ball down and Hopper start on this run? Getting straight out the
I've taken it on board and I'll action it if I need to. I'll action it if I need to, all right? There you go.
Harrigan's like Perry Mason out there.
Well, he was arguing, saying that John Hopewadi should have been penalised at the other end of the field. Let's see what we can come up with on Adam Muir. He's the man low down with the headband.
Now.
No, he's actually on the left-hand side. I couldn't see anything.
Manly on the attack, 5 metres away from the Newcastle line. Lions again. Sidaris. 2 metres away. Fulton looking for his playmaker. Lions. Across. Field. 10-metre line. It is for Hopewadi. That's a try. John Hopewadi has scored.
Well, they got there, and we're still trying to work out what Adam Muir did wrong. But look at the width. That's a good pass from Scott Fulton. Another good one from Cliff Lyons, and look at all the space they've got out here. They had to score. A beautifully timed pass from Craig Innes. On that occasion, Albert just gave Hopewadi a fraction too much room to move, and he had the room there to crash over.
Yeah, Darren Albert should have come up a little bit. With John Hopewadi coming at you with speed, only a couple of metres out from your own line, he's going to be almost impossible to stop, and that's what he's proven to be. And Hopewadi scores from the corner. And that really hurts Newcastle because they'd forced their way back into the game.
Gee, I tell you what, just looking at the slow-mo on the corner post.
The hand?
No, I reckon the elbows touched the corner post here as he's gone down.
That previous replay sort of indicated the corner post started to move before the ball went down. The other one, this is the one I want to see again. Watch the corner post.
Nah, try.
I just made it. Close
Okay.
call.
Okay.
They called for the photo.
Well, watching the US Open on the wide world of sports, I mean, what they've done with the slow-mo replays, you finish up scratching your head and you don't know what's happened.
Can I just ask a question? I was looking for the replay. I assumed they were going to kick and they got the penalty. Do we know what Adam Muir was penalised for?
He took Mark Carroll.
Where'd they go?
I don't know, Les Miserables or something. Now, Nevin. From the touchline. They only had a matter of seconds before the break. That's what he's got in front of him. Shannon Nevin. 16 to 8. 3 tries to 1. And just wide. So 8 points is the margin. Kelvin Jeffs acknowledges half-time. Manly with 3. Newcastle with 1. We'll go to the break. We're back. Manly, the Premiers, leading by 8 over the Knights. Here's a break. Back at the Sydney Football Stadium. Manly are leading 16 points to 8 in the first half of football that had a lot of controversy, and we'll take you back to one of those moments in just a moment.
And haven't Manly had some possession? The majority of that early in the game where Newcastle really struggled. They came up with 14 missed tackles against 5, and probably 10 of those missed tackles were in the first 20 minutes of that first half. Line breaks also going Manly's way 5-1. Very dangerous with the ball.
Daniel Gartner leads the tackle count. He's a little bit quiet in attack. Kalela's had a great game for the Eagles with 10 tackles and 9 hit-ups. And Mark Carroll, while he was on there, worked very hard as well. Newcastle side, Billy Peden, as always, up the top with the tackles, and the hit-ups there well shared by the 2 boppers up front, Harrigan and Butterfield, the 2 gorillas.
Here's a replay of why Adam Muir was called out.
Well, just have a look at Muir there on the left of screen, taking Mark Carroll out. I cannot believe that the touch judge has come in for that. There's no way knowing that he's going to be involved in the play. If Muir basically stands there, he's going to get poleaxed himself. That is really a very, very tough call against Newcastle, and ended up being a crucial one because 4 was added.
And you can't blame this bloke, Kelvin Jeffs. He was called way across the ground by Martin Weeks, the touch judge. And, of course, he has to act on that, something that he hasn't seen. So the start of the second half. Manly in front, 16 points to 8, and Shannon Nevin running into the shoulder with Adam Muir and Mark Glanville. He's been involved in just about everything today, Muir. If there's been a scrap, he's been at the centre of it. He's pulled off some tremendous tackles. It's been a wholehearted effort by the Australian rep, Muir. Talking of that, there's David Gillespie. Didn't have a lot of time in the first half. Carroll was sickened early in the game when he tried to tackle Harrigan. Back though, Carroll seems to be okay. Now, Nevin's kick, I thought Innes was offside, and he knows that he stayed outside the 10 as Albert runs to Menzies. Newcastle now. First touch of the ball, second half, Harrigan. 7 metres from the halfway. Clements away for Matthew Johns. Now, Billy Peden, good run. Laying a foundation for Newcastle to go further. Butterfield running into Kalela's tackle up the top, and Gardner underneath. 33 metres from the line. Dinova, a kick, back and across. Oh, it's a chance for Newcastle. He got a hand on it. Matthew Johns' appeal. Johns' appeal for a try. Now the referee has called timeout to consult the in-goal judge.
His hands.
Newcastle
try,
kick the ball
Raps.
down with pressure.
Yep.
Johns will be given a try. Kelvin Jeffs points to the spot. Dinova's kick hit the upright. Johns put it on the boot and then puts a hand to it.
Very astute kick here from Leo Dinova. I don't think he aimed for the post, but what a result for him. That threw Jeff Tuvey out. Matthew Johns put it on the boot. It looked as though it was going to get away from him, but he reacted so quickly, despite being on the ground or on his way to the ground, to reach out and get downward pressure.
Yes, the Knights are back into it. A great chase from Matthew Johns. A different kick from Dinova.
I'll tell you something. If he doesn't put a hand to it, there's a chance that he could have ruled a penalty try, at the very least a penalty.
Yeah, well, Jeff Tuvey has tackled him without the football. That's what you're alluding to.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, if you're going to penalise Adam Muir for what he did to Mark Carroll, it had to happen there. But the thought of a penalty try was on my mind. Now Dinova, the man who started it all with freakish luck, will try and bring it to 16-14. And he should get it. 17 out, just off centre. Oh, he's missed it. He's hit the upright again.
You're too good. You're too good. This was not only a good kick because it hit the post and led to a try, but it was just well placed in the circumstances. He found space. It was going to go into the in-goal area. And Matthew Johns, well, I said that Malcolm really might have thought of leaving him out of the rest of the game after that earlier incident.
You're the best ever, Rebs.
Mock.
Dead set the best ever mock I've ever seen.
Best-
I should get this one.
What about the strike power there?
Well, hang on a moment. You take my job and I'll do your job. What would you have said?
All right, Nevin comes in to kick off. Oh, it's a great kick off too.
Marvellous kick. Taken 5 out.
So, Newcastle coming back and away from their own line. Glanville. Harrigan winding it up. My goodness, he's playing with what appears to be passion, Harrigan. He dearly wants to be with Newcastle in a grand final. And I know it doesn't really matter today, if that's the way of putting it. But the way he's playing, it's just a game of passion for Harrigan. Muir.
Clements has stayed down after being tackled by Jeff Tuvey at his 40-metre line as the last signal. Matthew Johns was dummy half. So he kicks the ball down. And Clements being escorted from the field as Nevin finds support in Hopewadi, goes centre field.
Nevin. Harrigan came out of the forward line. Steve Roach on the sidelines. Took me a while to get to you. What did you find out?
Yeah, well, there was a big blow-up at Newcastle at half-time. All the talk was about that Kosef tackle. Newcastle club are just finding out now if they can sight. So a big blow-up there. Newcastle, Malcolm really just said, look, you just can't keep turning over to the ball in your own half, especially to a side like Manly. He said it was tremendous courage to come back. But the most important thing is for us to be in the game at the back end of it. He said, keep asking the question of Hopewadi. He's very slow at turning around and chasing the football. For Manly, Bobby Fulton was happy with their first 15 minutes. He said it was great football. He didn't think Newcastle could go with them, but it was their own mistakes that got him in a little bit of trouble and allowed him back into the game. He said, keep going at them. They're too slow to get back to 10 metres. They will tire in the second half. He said, give their kickers a little bit more pressure. We're not chasing hard enough from the marker position.
So Newcastle on the 40-metre line. Strong defence by Manly. And the tackler has come out of its second best. It is Daniel Gartner. Johns and Muir. Muir carrying the ball behind him. Johns flings a pass out. Oh, McDougall wishes that he hadn't. Set him up for a big tackle by Terry Hill. Craigie's pass for Johns. Hopewadi covers. There's another one of those on-the-spot decisions by Matthew Johns. He's watching Grogan and Albert again. They were from a standing start.
The surprise is the greatest part of putting a kick through like that, but Matthew Johns basically had to tell his outside men that he was going to kick, and obviously was picked up by the defence as well, and Hopewadi had a pretty easy job to get back as Sidaris out of dummy half on the short side. Crossover, now Innes into the clear.
Innes has gone inside the 30-metre line. He had Hopewadi on his outside. Kosef. Lyons. The cross kick. Danny Moore and Menzies are after it. That is a brilliant take by McDougall.
Well, how did he get that? McDougall, he had his back turned the whole time as Dinova finds Hughes from fullback. And also a great wrap from Mark Glanville to run down Craig Innes on the far side. This is the most difficult take in the game.
Butterfield. Butterfield. Out to the 30-metre line before he met the Manly winger John Hopewati. Muir. Now to the 40. Dinova stepping away from Tuvey. Menzies put a good tackle on him. The ball has come down for Craigie. The hand is in the air from the referee as the ball goes down to Manly.
Well, it's exciting stuff, isn't it? It's a great semi-final, this one.
What about the effort of Matthew Johns there on the last tackle, just to tap it on to Craigie? He knew that he was going to be claimed, Matthew Johns. Oh, great pick up too from Sadaras. Only happening out there as Menzies tries to find space. Nearly came undone on the last tackle for Newcastle, but Johns keeps it alive. Look at this, he looks to see who's coming through its lines. He just taps it into the path of Craigie and off they go. Kalila taking it forward now. Went a little bit quiet. He had a great start to the game. Oh!
What do you do?
That's the best forward pass I've seen in my life. He just stood there.
Well, he was a quarterback. Unfortunately, the Newcastle trainer has called for the stretcher. Let's hop away.
They're playing offside touch. They're training with that one.
Brett Grogan.
Hasn't moved, Peter, since the tackle he made about a minute ago.
What shocking luck for Brett Grogan. He was out for the bulk of the season with meningitis, I think.
That is right.
Lost something like 15 or 16 kilos, forced his way back into the top grade. And they called for the Medicab very, very quickly after this incident.
Let's see what happens here with Brett Grogan. He goes in on the tackle with Menzies. Oh my goodness. Right ankle has gone under, right under the knee of Menzies as he came crashing down. (16-12). So while they're taking Brett Grogan from the field, we'll take a break. It's a nasty scene. We'll be back in a moment at the 49th minute. Back at the Sydney Football Stadium, Brett Grogan, the Newcastle centre, taken off on the Medicab. Debuted 3 or 4 years ago, 1994, and he's in a lot of pain, and I would imagine it's the right ankle that has suffered from the impact with Stephen Menzies. Newcastle finding the line, and territory is good for them. The first tackle 25 metres out from the Manly line. They come through, two sets of hands for Harrigan. Centering play. Now, John Muir lurking out wide. Tuvey. This is Peden underneath the tackle of Carroll. They're just getting a little bit lost for direction. John steers them back through Dinova. Dinova finds Richards. 10 metres away from the Manly line. Manly handling them easily at the moment. Now Johns for Harrigan. Harrigan takes on Tierney. Gets it back for Johns. Oh, the pass has taken the impact out of it. Now it's with Craigie. Craigie goes for a little kick and chase. And Sidaris has it for Manly. Steve Roach on the sideline.
Yeah, Brett Clemens has a groin injury. He will not be back. We haven't seen Lee Jackson come to the sideline yet. Billy Peden will play dummy half.
Menzies then pushes it out beyond the 20.
And that wayward pass from Matthew Johns may have cost his team a try. He had numbers out wide after a tremendous surge up the middle from Harrigan and an even better offload.
Sidaris, who has been used more in the first half anyway as a running forward than a dummy half. He basically shared that role with Captain Jeff Tuvey for the early part of the game. Now away for Lyons. He beat a desperate tackle by Butterfield. Tuvey's pass goes behind Menzies. They cross the halfway with Innes standing in the tackle of McDougall. Lyons takes on Albert and Albert wins the day. Played quickly by Lyons. Menzies acting half and Nevin puts his kick in on the last. Hughes brings it away. He'll gather up some good field position here. So the tackle is back almost on the 30-metre line. Certainly, they've had to start their sets of 6 further back than this on many occasions. Muir tries to batter his way over the 40-metre line. Third tackle. Johns and a running Butterfield aiming it at Lyons. Halfway line, 4th tackle. On the right, Glanville. McDougall pulled down by Menzies on 5. So will they go to the air? The crossfield kick from Johns. High, it'll come down on the 20-metre line. Came off Shannon Nevin. It's 6 more tackles. That kick has come off Newcastle again.
Well, just as well. Leo
It came off Manly, I should say, Peter.
Yeah, he must have known that there was 6 signalled once again. And Ewer's cleaned up. Plenty of tackles up their sleeve now.
Butterfield. Glanville. 10-metre line. They've got a mile of tackles here. Oh, did he knock on a dummy half? He did. The number 14, Wayne Richards.
And they were looking good too, Newcastle. They're really starting to put some very attractive play together. And Matthew Johns is the architect. Just the tiniest of knock-ons.
So the big hookers come out. They're getting a dummy half on the park, Lee Jackson.
And another reshuffle with Brett Grogan off the field and Paul Harrigan leaving. We've got Evan Cochran who's gone on to the wing. That's pushed McDougall into the centres.
Innes. Field. Beyond the 20. 16 to 12. 12 minutes gone, second half. 3 tries to 2, Manly. Tuvey sweeping it back for Kosef. Now Tierney. Grinding run by the big man. Field. From the right foot. The bounce favourable for Hughes. Gets it back almost to his own 30-metre line. It's Cochran now. Playing in the biggest game of his life. Evan Cochran played juniors, under-21s with blokes like Taylor, Goldthorpe, Ainscough, Wyatt. Now Jackson. Just inside the 40-metre line. It's got everything you want from a final. Muir. Look out for the unload. He hasn't been doing it as much in this match. Harrigan's been the one doing it. Johns with a cross-field kick, but Danny Moore came in off his wing. No pressure. Felt some pressure under the tackle, that's all.
Again, Matthew Johns was slow to his feet as Terry Hill takes some pressure off his forwards. Just kicked off balance there, Matthew Johns. Made it an easier catch for Danny Moore.
A comment on Jeff Tuvey's form today from Steve Roach sideline.
Yeah, we're just watching him going to dummy half now. That's where he's been playing, and I think it will spell danger signs for Newcastle if he does run from that area. And he hasn't ran from there yet, but Newcastle will get tired in the last 20 minutes.
Penalty Manly.
You tackle him, you rolled him over.
Take them out of the territory that they've been occupying for quite some time. Against the tacklers on Kilella.
Against Wayne Richards again, continually pushing the tackled man onto his back. He's come up with a couple of key mistakes, a knock on from dummy half and that one. That gives Manly a good chance. They get good field position on the first tackle.
Tierney. Big convoy of Newcastle supporters here, which comes as no surprise. They love their team. 30 metres away from the Newcastle line. Kosef across the ground. Terry Hill, who scored the first try, is 25 metres out from the line. Craigfield behind Kilella. Lions, the runaround for Field on the 30-metre line. Menzies to the 20-metre line. And he runs into McDougall. Gets a ball away. It'll bounce for Lions. Lions then angles across. Tries to straighten up for Gardner. Gardner does that to the 20-metre line. And now Field, a scurry from dummy half. He left out a mule behind him. Johns has got him. He got it away for Tuvey. Tuvey's pass goes behind Kilella. Picked up by Tierney, given for Lions. Lions goes back to the 20-metre line. Then goes back on the left. It's picked up there by Nevin, and Nevin is put away. Newer the tackler. Tuvey then uses the short side. And Lions kicks to the open side. It's a big kick, and beautifully taken by Darren Albert.
Great defence there from Newcastle. Adam Muir came up with a bone rattler. And they've held on well. Manly look good when Tuvey's at dummy half and Field and Lions are the halves. They seem to be a little bit more organised.
Hasn't been a great battle between those two wingers there. Opawati and Darren Albert really thrown everything at each other. To try and take under pressure as Fletcher takes it forward. Muir's been the best part of the field this afternoon.
Well, the bad news is he's on the sideline in front of Steve Roach at the moment. Is it apparent what's wrong with him, Steve?
No, not at the moment, mate. We haven't found out yet, but we will get back to you.
Darren Albert
now. A little bit of blood coming from the mouth.
Okay, Albert on the halfway line. Johns pushing it across. This is Richards looking for a change of luck. Dinova. Kick down into the corner. The rolling ball sees Nevin come back. Again, though, and I might be wrong, Johns and Dinova have kicked basically for themselves, and because of that, the Newcastle chase has been hesitant.
And some bad news there for Manly. Cliff Lyons has limped off the field.
Gardner for Innes, angling back in. Hopewadi, great pass, great catch by Menzies. An even better pass, but it's misdirected. McDougall comes away for the Knights on the 30-metre line. Jackson, Harrigan, Hopewadi came at him, throws the pass back. Dinova on the second bounce for Fletcher. Fletcher on for Johns, away from the 40-metre line and taken down 32 metres away from the Manly line.
And Darren Albert in all sorts of trouble on the far wing for Newcastle as well, as Fletcher takes it inside 30, nearly goes through, taken low by Kilella.
Newcastle, Jackson, he might win the race. Oh, it's as close as a boarding house scraper butter.
Great work from Lee Jackson.
When he Danny Moore.
Yeah, when he put the kick through, I thought he was going to make it. It's about a 20-metre sprint. At this stage, he's flying, his favourite. I think in the end, the legs just gave out. He starts to struggle there, loses his form, and it's come off Danny Moore's head.
That's the only good part of it, I suppose, from a Newcastle point of view. They will get the ball back. Almost 3/4 of the game gone. Craig Field's dropout. Dinova asks Butterfield to take it back. Tell you what, if Jeff Tuvey hasn't been running the ball as much today, he has been involved in the defence. I'm talking about heavy stuff. Found himself confronted with big forwards right in the middle of the park so many times. Knock on by Harrigan.
He's going for a forward pass, Rabs.
Has he?
He came back on an angle. Lee Jackson was the culprit. So again, they come up with a mistake at this end of the field, and the last couple of forays down here, they really haven't kept the pressure on because they have given away a penalty or possession earlier in the tackle count.
Step back, we'll have a breather. Jimmy, step back. Come on, Dave.
Brett Grogan's injury, Steve. What's the news?
Yeah, torn ligament in the ankle. They're saying that it's not broken. And also Cliffy Lyons on the bench from Manly. He's got a cork.
Okay. This is Innes, who has looked very dangerous when he handles the football.
Manly just tried to draw on the scrum move that we saw them score earlier in the year. I think it might have against North Sydney. Oh, yeah, it was North Sydney, where they packed one side and have Craig Field take off the other. Glanville did a great job to foot it with him.
Now, Menzies. Sidaris. He's looking for a runner. He didn't get a call, so he eventually had to take it himself. This is the last, as Craig Field comes away from dummy half to put the kick in, and Hughes on the bounce back on his own 10-metre line. He's had a lot of work to do, Mark Hughes. And that's a good tackle from the kicker, Craig Field. Now, Cochrane comes from down in the David Barnhill area, MIA, Murrumbidgee. Richards. Johns pushing it across. McDougall playing in the centres.
That's a tackle, fellas. Run away.
Albert still there, even though Peter noticed that he was in a bit of trouble a few minutes ago. Glanville will play it back for Jackson. Jackson using the short side. Johns. Grubbing kick off the legs there from Nevin. Smart play. And then Darren Albert.
He's recovered quickly.
Yeah. It was a good call of yours, Doctor. Gartner. Muir launching himself. Fletcher, Richards it was, involved as well.
Well, Matthew Johns is the bloke in the wars now. After he kicked that football, he was slow to his feet. That's been 3 or 4 times he's been nailed upon kicking. He's still out there and about to make this tackle along with Glanville.
A couple of these, particularly Newcastle players, looking extremely tired. It's been a bruising game. It's starting to take its toll. High shot on Albert. Craig Innes is the man.
Well, no one's worked harder than Darren Albert out there.
Be quiet and listen.
Hasn't, or haven't, I think is the word, that the wingers and the fullbacks had a lot of work to do, particularly for Newcastle.
Go away.
Ooh. Kelvin Jeffs with a rebuttal. Kelvin Jeffs.
It's a difference in refereeing. David mentioned yesterday talks to the players, not down to them. He never said go away.
This is Richards. Go away. Graham Mackay would probably be watching with interest. Muir away. Glanville on. Craigie stepping. Around Big Carroll. Intercepted by Sidaris. Inside ball. Then Craig Field. Now Daniel Gartner. 30-metre line. Newcastle there. They lead by 4. Manly on there. Tuvey there. Behind Kallela. Menzies at the 30. Innes to the 20. Pushes away from 2. Gets away from 3. Beats the 4th and Hupawati scores. But it's Craig Innes' try. Hupawati for Manly has put it over the line.
He gets his second hopper. Getting very, very tired now, the Knights, and with the week off, it's a fresh Manly team who's finishing on very strongly the last quarter of this game. Owen Craigie hasn't made many mistakes this afternoon, but he throws the ball straight to the opposition here. Jimmy Sidaris, Johnny on the spot. He linked up. Paul Harrigan nearly gave away a penalty by coming in over the top here and holding the man down for too long, but the referee said play on. And then Craig Innes Shows great strength to burst through a couple of tackles. Beats McDougall. Lee Jackson, an ordinary attempt. It was on the platter for Hopewati.
There's some poor defence there from Newcastle out wide. They actually, well, Innes has actually run into Albert, and Albert never even attempted to tackle him there. And back on the other side of the field, as soon as this try was scored, Jim Sedaris was still standing where he had passed the football after getting the intercept, and about half a dozen Manly players ran over to congratulate him.
Yeah, exactly.
On the
They
work
all
that he'd
headed
done.
for Sedaris. I thought it was Craig Innes' try, but the Manly players made it very well known. They thought it was Sedaris who needed the adulation. Shannon Nevin, talking of Darren Albert, he stayed off Innes. He stayed on Hopewati, but when his colleagues lost Innes, he then had to come back at him. And of course, Hopewati has strolled in. Well, the youngster brought in to solve Manly's kicking problems. Shannon Nevin. Big shoes to fill from last year. Gets it straight between the sticks. From Manly, 22-12, sit down, fat man, 64th minute, 10 the break. Back, and we do welcome you back on the Nine Network, covering the finals of the Australian Rugby League from the Sydney Football Stadium. Been a good one, this one. Let's have a look at some lower grades for you. As Tierney brings it beyond the 30. Second grade, Balmain, under 20s, Balmain 34, Souths 14. Second grade today, Balmain. Big day for the Tigers. 22-17.
Shannon Nevin takes the football up, and his goal kicking has been very good for the Eagles over the last couple of weeks, but he's more than just a goal kicker. He's a fine young player, and he slid in very well as Lyons throws it down. He ducks under, finds Menzies. Fletcher comes across in cover.
Fifth tackle down for Manly. Played by Menzies. Down the blind side. A neat little kick by Lyons, but it's got too much breakfast on it. Over the dead ball line.
You just get the feeling that Newcastle might have run their race in this game, that there's a couple of tries left in the Eagles yet. They just look dead in their feet, the Knights.
This is Fletcher. A big mop of hair on Fletcher. I'll get a close-up of him later. Just something flashed through my mind. I'm trying to think of his name. He played on the wing for Souths. Bobby Fulton, the Manly coach, sitting back, taking it all in. Dinova. Johns running at will. Muir looking in vain for somebody to come off him. He is one player you have to follow. Dinova. He's looking for Cochrane. And Cochrane had it, but it came off his hand and went forward, I feel.
Yeah, not going good.
Yeah, that's the way Jeffs has seen it.
Well, Kelvin Jeffs was going to give that try, and then all of a sudden he said, no, I better talk to the in-goal judge. It's knocked forward there by Cochrane. And Jeffs raced over, but he got the nod from the in-goal touching.
Tierney now. Gillespie. That's the halfway line. Manly is about to say comfortable. They're 10 in front with 12 to go. A well-placed kick has got Hughes back in trouble. Oh, they've got him. Ball will come back to Manly. Good chase.
Yeah, kicking early in the tackle count. It was only the third or fourth tackle. A good move. They probably think they got the game won, and now it's just a matter of containing Newcastle.
It is an example, Paul, of something that I've been a bit critical of Newcastle over. There's Fletcher. I was going to say from a distance, who's he look like?
The Redfern Express.
Yeah,
Terry Fay.
Terry Fay, but only from a distance. You could see Manly had well rehearsed what they were about to do. They had runners in the cages ready to go, whereas Newcastle have kicked several times for the man kicking only. Manly aim it back. Tierney unloading. Sidaris for Field. Field underneath the armpit of Harrigan. Gartner to the 10-metre line. Back for Sidaris. They've got the blind side stacked. Field, Hill will score. Terry Hill gets his second try. 26-12 now. 11 to go.
Yeah, Paul, spot on. It does look as though Manly could run in some points in the last 10 here. Neil Tierney got the offload away, and Craig Field is probably going to be the catalyst in this last 10. He steps back inside, ducks under a tackle, offloads to Gartner, and then he comes across to the right-hand side where he realises that there's a little bit of space. 3 on 2. It's not that difficult to hold it up for Terry Hill through the tackle of Cochran, and enough strength to carry another over in Hughes.
They just worn them down, haven't they, in the end? Hasn't been their best performance of the season, Manly, but they'll get there. And good to see Craig Field running the football. It's probably something he hasn't done enough of this year. Willing to take the opposing defence on. He's done it today, and it's proved successful for the Eagles.
Well, Paul, on today's performance, now we're not quite sure whether Cliff Lyons has picked up any sort of injury at all that might keep him out. Would you suit? Yeah, he's still there. Would Bob Fulton look to go with the same side next week, or?
Well, Bozo, he's very superstitious. He's a stickler for things that work, and if he started the game today with Cossett at 5'8", and Tuvey at halfback and Sidaris hooker, he'll probably go the same way again next week.
Well, if that's what Paul Vautin says, you can bet your bottom dollar it'll be right if we're talking about the great Bonzo. Bonzo's shadow has told us what will happen.
Turn it up.
Turn it up.
Shadow.
What about with your other lifeline? Next week, the Bears, what do you think that they'll be doing?
Well, the team I'll be coaching next year.
Oh, going to be so delusional.
Well, Newcastle have got a big job, haven't they? Now to recover, they will play North Sydney next Saturday, and a big job to recover now from this game today. They picked up quite a few injuries, but the bonus would be that Andrew Johns and Robbie O'Davis come back into their team.
Nevin from near touch. He's looking down on this ground from a very high elevation at the football stadium. It's like walking through a shopping arcade. The advertisements on the ground in 1997. Oh, gee, I tell you what, it's been a big preparation by Shannon Nevin. And he has missed it. From out near the touchline, it seemed to take him half an hour to load it up. So with 9 minutes to go, it's 26-12. Manly over Newcastle.
Well, now you know what it's like when we're waiting for you to putt. Fair think.
Preliminary final next Saturday at 4 o'clock. The loser of today against North Sydney, well, that'll be Newcastle. And then next Sunday, it will be Sydney City versus Manly, and many people think that is grand final day.
Steve Menzies coming up with a mistake here from the kickoff. Feet just slipping out from underneath him as he got in position to catch the football.
Right, don't come in. Don't come
Well
in.
contained a game, Steve Menzies. So he hasn't made many busts. He's scouting out wide. That's the emphasis
Back we
in
go.
defence against him these days is so strong. They know what he can do.
Heads down. Hold away.
Newcastle down by 14. And it is with McDougall 35 metres away from the Manly line. Glanville. Manly and Sydney City next Sunday. Dinover. Craigie. Easily taken in by Hill. It's very hard to think of a centre combination. McDougall. Good pass. 15 out. The centre combination that's got on top of Manly's Hill and Innes. Johns with a neat kick. But Danny Moore, he's got a start on the rest of them. So tall is he. Went above him. Pulled it down. Menzies. Standing still. The others have got the jump, but Danny Moore built more like a basketballer. Lyons, Innes. It's only meant as a question against Manly, the centres that are likely to come against them. In what we have left, these two have dominated their opposition from what I've seen. Nevin in, away. 5 metres down into Newcastle's area. Quick ball, field. Lyons crosses the 40. Innes the 30. Hopewadi angles back. Lyons supports, then pushes it hard and long. Field goes back over the 30. Loses the footing. Finds Tierney. Good reflexes from him. Then throws a shocker. Menzies then takes on Craigie inside the 20 and the 10. And Menzies has been pulled down 2 metres from the line. Losing the headgear in the process. Hill. Lyons. A little kick looking for the height of Danny Moore, but they are out of the field of play. 5.5 to go. Fletcher running at Cliff Lyons. Jackson brought into the game midway through the second half when Richards made a couple of mistakes from dummy half. McDougall, Johns, back, Dinover, across, put down by Peden. Manly didn't get a shot at it. He'll put a knock on here. They had no advantage, Manly. Kelvin Jeffs will bring it back for the scrum to go down. Knocked on by Peden. Sidaris gained no advantage. Scrum about 7 metres on the Knights' end of the ground. 14 the difference, but the tries on the scoreboard, they tell the story. 5-2 as Terry Hill succumbs to a tackle just inside touch. Moore, field. Gutton, 20-metre line. Sidaris sends Big Carroll down the blind side. Not held, Carroll's away again. 1 metre from the try line. Sidaris, Tierney puts his back to them, looks to try and get it away. Field. Long pass, Lyons. He'll try and get outside this compressed defence. Inside ball for Menzies. The last. And again from Lyons. Craig Field goes for a drop goal. Neatly stepped around the only player in defence, and the arm goes up. So a further point to Manly. 27-12. Good practice for what's to come for Craig Field.
And that's about what it is. Might have even had that in mind. I suppose it makes the Newcastle boys walk all the way back to halfway. Their heads are down a bit. And they come up with some more defence.
Inside the third last minute. A bruising encounter in the first half. And it's taken its toll. Gartner's pass picked in there or pulled in and away from Dinover for Johns. Billy Peden was the man responsible. He's a dummy half now. Butterfield runs a decoy to the other side of the ground as Dinover puts in a kick. Dinover and Shannon Nevin. Nevin blasting goal.
He hasn't let them down, Peter, today, has he, Leo Dinover? He's tried every trick in the book. His defence has been good, and he made the most of his opportunity today. He'll be a very handy bench player come next weekend.
As I mentioned earlier, Paul, there'll probably no player out there with more pressure on him than Leo Dinover coming in for Andrew Johns, and he's done everything expected of him. He was involved in a try. His kicking game's been good. And he's really carried on the form that he showed in the first couple of months of this competition, where he was absolutely outstanding.
On the other side of the coin, the young man that he tackled in goal, and I think you mentioned it earlier, Shannon Nevin hasn't let Manly down. Butterfield shoveling it away. Jackson provided. Richards gives it back. Jackson supports. Johns is with it. A grubbing kick, and this might bring a penalty because Billy Peden was held back. He's taking it out to the 20 for the tap restart. I'm rather amazed that a touch judge hasn't given his centre man some hope here. Have a look at that. I mean, he was dead set held by an arm. And the reason I'm going on a little bit about it is what Martin Weeks found with Adam Muir just prior to half-time.
Well, look, I think Manly have been the best team
So do I.
this afternoon, but you've got to say that the penalty awarded just before half-time against Adam Muir on Mark Carroll, which ultimately led to the points being scored before the break, has been the biggest call of this game, and you know, it changed the course of it to some degree. It really was a turning point. And if they're going to be giving decisions like that, it must be consistent, so we should have seen another penalty then.
Jeff Tuvey from the benches. As Bob Fulton rotates them. Sidaris. He's got some marvellous players, hasn't he, to be able to rotate. Hopewadi won't lie down. Jackson has to ride him into the ground like a Cossack. And a knock-on from Gartner.
No.
But isn't it so typical of this Manly club? I know they've got plenty of dollars, but the players they've got to rotate. Tuvey, Field, Lyons, Kosef, full-timers there. 27-12. Manly, 5 tries to 2, dominating the second half. They could come together again and attract what will be a big crowd from Newcastle one more time.